I'm thinking that the ones here who are from the future are pulling other souls that didn't make it into that future that we're in for whatever reason. So we go back in time to try to perhaps manipulate energy, space time, whatever the case may be, maybe even soul contracts. And as a result, we pull that soul and sort of retrocausally pull it into what is normally our present before we incarnated here. I think that is part of what's happening here, as in Back to the Future. A lot of people maybe go back to the future more than we think, or go back into the past. But just wanted to throw that out there. Today, right from the start, was very unusual, very strange. Um, I sort of stopped seeing the 9/11s and the 666s as much. And then it really ramped up again yesterday. And today I got bus number 1911. But what was strange was that he kept pointing to that number. And then I started seeing the number all day long, nonstop. Everywhere I went. I had two unusual Uber passengers. This happened to me before. I had a lady talking about September 11th as a date. About a year ago, I made a video where she was talking about how she moved somewhere, and the date that she used was specifically September 11th. And why she said that was strange because it wasn't relevant at all when she moved, but she had to say it. So I had another unusual passenger today. I had two. The first one, just a normal person, but our conversation ended up being about World War III. Somehow, she is legitimately concerned about it. It seems to be. That's a normal thing, because anybody who can see that that is a legitimate concern. The next passenger was a whole nother level of strange, though. Young girl, pick her up, take her somewhere. She said it was the wrong address, so she gives me cash to take her somewhere else. And from the first point A to point B, she didn't say anything. There was no discussion, pretty much, of any kind. When I started taking her on the second trip, is when she pulls out her phone, she shoves it in my face while driving, and says, "This is our sun." And it's a picture of the sun. And it looks like a flash, like a light bulb. This is a very high quality phone. Took very good photos. And she started to say, "How can our sun be like this? I look up in the sky and I think another planet has taken over." And I'm like, "Yeah, right." Or something like that. And she proceeded to explain that the sky looks very strange. The clouds don't look normal. There's all sorts of anomalies in the sky. And I'm like, hallelujah. hallelujah, because most of the people I meet who have these Mandela effect experiences, like I do, I meet them online. And then subsequently, I do meet them in person in some cases. But this was so random. This was so random, guys. I can't make sense of this. She didn't say anything. And then I don't know if there was some kind of vibrational thing where she felt with me that she can talk about that, because I actually don't imply anything conspiratorial in my day-to-day life when interacting with the normals most of the time. But she insisted to talk about it with me. And what makes it even more interesting, this is a younger person, 21, she said. 21. Now, Mandela affected people, more likely than not, are going to be your older people who remember things differently at a time many years ago when they were younger. The fact that this 21-year-old sees these things is astonishing. But even more astonishing, I have a friend who lives locally, and his daughter is 12, and he says that she says those things about the sun and the moon. So the conversation evolved from there, where it went from the strange skies and the sun and the moon, which obviously look like LED light bulbs for anyone who can, with eyes to see. She then proceeded to tell me things that I would describe as forms of gang stalking, forms of targeting, like these strange anomalies that would happen to her, where, like, things would be missing and weird encounters with people that make no sense. And I'm like, huh, yeah, this sounds familiar. And then I asked her, have you seen the movie The Truman Show? Of course, she did. And so we compared our situation here to The Truman Show, which it is, because it constantly feels like you're being messed with all day, every day. Anyway, guys, that's it. I'm glad this happened today. This is positive news for me. This is obviously not an accident that it happened this way. And it's just good to see. I hope there's more people like us out there than we realize. I really hope so. But that was weird. That was weird. Anyway, before I go, so we don't need to speculate on any PedGo 2 dates anymore. We have it shoved in our face now. It's going to be before the election, as indicated by the mainstream media, as in not the main event necessarily, but a mainer event. And it's really odd that they're specifically talking about it being before the election. How the strike will be before the election. I want you to think about that one for a second. Because with those with eyes to see and ears to hear will understand that they're going to do it before the election. Why? To subvert and to sabotage the election. Right? For what reason, I don't know. But it probably has to do with the cosmic war I've been talking about. Weird.